keep telling them too. I keep telling them. She likes to make me think that I'm a freak just for her velvet, all wrapped in between her ivory, and I can't help it. Listening and overcame, ocean on repeat again. Oh baby, you were worth the wait. Baby, you were worth the wait. Yeah. When you're wearing velvet, girl, takes me to another world. Nobody makes me feel this way. Nobody makes me feel this way. Nobody makes me feel this way. Feel this way. Stop, here we go. She's making deals, I'm in her ear and getting overzealous. We're swimming in her velvet deer, makes all her neighbors jealous. Listening to Purple Rain, crying over drugs again. Oh baby, you were worth the wait. Baby, you were worth the wait. Yeah. When you're wearing velvet, girl, takes me to another world. Nobody makes me feel this way. Nobody makes me feel this way. Nobody makes me.
Hello, everyone. We need some glass cleaning. Kelly's got the glass cleaning. I hate to be the person who has to break up the conversation, but I do want to encourage you to find your seats so we can get started this morning, almost afternoon.
In the bedroom, wanna touch her every freckle. I hit her from the base and I let her scream the treble.
Nobody makes me feel this way. Feel this way. Yeah.
Where's Yolanda? Well, hello, everybody. Kelly, can I get another clink of that glass? There we go. Well, welcome, everybody. And I guess I have the unfortunate role of being the person to break up the conversation and the fortunate role of welcoming you all to the 2022 State of the City Address. Man, is it good to be back here with all of you and in this room. Thank you for being here. For those I don't know, or we haven't had the pleasure of meeting, I'm Alicia Benson, and I'm the CEO at Greater Spokane Incorporated, and we have the distinct honor and pleasure of being able to host the State of the City address every year and be able to bring this conversation and this platform for the mayor and for the city to all of you here in our great community. So thank you for taking time to join us out of your offices or away from the Zoom screen and here in person. We're going to get food out and to you. I know we've got a few folks still getting their name tags, but we want to keep the program moving and get started. I also just want to note for folks that we are, there was a note out there, we are recording the event. It's actually live streaming on Cable 5 TV today. And both the City of Spokane and Greater Spokane Incorporated will be sharing that live stream recording back out after the event. So plenty of opportunity to be connected and be engaged in the conversation. So as we're getting lunch served, what I want to do to kick us off is invite Chaplain Mickey Tudor up to the stage for our invocation. Welcome. Please join me in welcoming Chaplain Tudor.
Well, thank you for the warm welcome. Would you bow your heads and pray with me? Well, Heavenly Father, thank you for gathering us here today and the fact that we can gather here today. Lord, you know it's no secret to you the issues we face do not come with easy answers. Father, I'm asking for wisdom that only heaven can provide, so this community's leaders can best serve this city and its citizens. Give us solutions that will draw from the strengths of our community. Let there be transparency and accountability in this process. Give answers to our specific priorities. Please allow, Father, there to be a spirit of team and collaboration, because we truly are in this together. Father, we thank you in advance for the long-term solutions for this city we all love and call home. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you again, Chaplain Tudor. Wonderful message. Next, I'd like to welcome up Janice Howard. Janice is a student at Shadle Park High School, and she is going to lead us in the National Anthem. If you'll please all stand.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag
Janice, that was incredible. This room is inspired. Thank you so very, very much. As the team here at the Public Facilities District Convention Center continues to serve lunch, we're going to make sure everybody gets to their seats. If you need help finding your table, please let us know. And at this point, fill in one of those empty seats so you can make sure you get you some lunch. I want to take just a moment as we're getting served to highlight a couple of really exciting things that thankfully at GSI we have the opportunity to be part of as we think about how we continue to drive economic development and growth and prosperity forward here in our region. The first thing I want to highlight is the award of the Innovation Cluster Accelerator Program grant that we received back in February. Between GSI and SP3 Northwest, we have the opportunity working with numerous partners across the region to really advance the cluster around life and health sciences. It's called the Evergreen Bioscience Innovation. This modern Spokane-based innovation cluster is a corporate industry-led member-based organization that includes partners from 5 economic development segments: government, capital, academic, entrepreneurial, and corporate. Its mission is to make Washington State and the Mountain Northwest a magnet for medical device and pharma contract service companies needing an integrated supply chain here, right here in the Spokane region. This cluster aims to prioritize and assist in funding and increase the collective value of the work and the companies happening here in our region. Very, very exciting. The second thing I want to note is that we are in the middle. We've had the opportunity to be supporting the Thrive Spokane effort, Spokane's comprehensive economic development strategy, what we call Thrive Spokane. It's something that many in this room, 40 plus of our partners, have been part of working on for the past 10 months, and we aren't done yet. The plan is out for public comment currently through May 11th, and we want to encourage each and every one of you to take a look at it, as it's focused on an inclusive strategy for economic growth and prosperity for our region. And the last thing I want to note on that is that in addition to the public comment ending May 11th, we have the opportunity as a community to come together just like we are here today to celebrate the launch and the implementation of what comes next with our comprehensive strategy as a region, and that is June 22nd, so mark your calendars. These are just a couple of examples of the work that our team at GSI and so many in the room get to wake up every single day and work on behalf of this great region. So just a huge thank you to each and every one of you. And in helping to do heavy lifting is the opportunity to create opportunities like this to come together. And so I want to take now the time to recognize our sponsors that make today's State of the City address possible. First, I'd like to recognize our presenting sponsor, Numerica Credit Union. Our major sponsors, thank you. There we go. We can clap in between. My lead applause is at the bottom. Our major sponsors, TDS Fiber and Washington State University Health Sciences Spokane. Thank you. And our event sponsors, Southwest Airlines, the Spokane Convention Center, and the University of Washington. Thank you. So it gives me great pleasure to welcome up Kelly Ferguson from Numerica Credit Union to share a brief message with all of you today. Numerica has been working actively with Greater Spokane Incorporated and many other community partners to better the Spokane region's quality of life through addressing some of the big issues around talent and workforce, as well as many issues facing business today. I'm extremely honored to recognize them as the presenting sponsor. Kelly has worked with Numerica Credit Union and in the financial industry for over 20 years, and at Numerica since 1998. He's held many different positions within the credit union, and advancing to his current position as Chief Administrative Officer, where he's responsible in their umbrella of leading technology innovation, payments, card services, HR, culture, and leadership on behalf of the credit union. He's earned his bachelor's degree from Whitworth University, go Pirates, his master's degree in organizational leadership from Gonzaga University, go Zags, and his MBA from Washington State University, go Cougs. All of these. I said he's a good collector of local degrees. I love it. It's a trifecta indeed. So with that, Kelly.
Thank you, Alicia. Cougs First is happening next door if you guys are Coug family, right next door. Anyways, Good afternoon, now I believe. From all of us at Numerica, we are honored to be the presenting sponsor of the 2022 State of the City Address. Numerica has been a part of GSI since 1999, and it's wonderful to see all of you out here today supporting GSI. Numerica has been a part of the Spokane community for over 80 years. We've watched neighborhoods grow, businesses expand, and have seen the city overcome many different challenges. Spokane's character and resilience has provided the perfect setting for Numerica to live out its commitment of enhancing lives, fulfilling dreams, and building communities. In 2021, Numerica gave back more than $1.4 million throughout the communities that we serve across eastern and central Washington and northern Idaho. Whether it's supporting organizations working around hunger, homelessness, food insecurity, helping students tackle debt through one of our many scholarships, or just donating gently used technology to nonprofit partners, we believe in putting people first. But we don't just donate financially, our employees give back as well. Over the last decade, our employees have given over 140,000 hours back to the Spokane community. Numerica gives each employee a day of PTO to use towards volunteerism. And being able to see them use that, not only for the things that matter the most to them, but beyond that 8 hours, it's amazing to watch and see. As more companies start up, expand their reach across the inland Northwest, Numerica is honored to participate in that growth. We've helped hundreds of owners develop the skills they need to run a successful business. In fact, many of these supporters are here with GSI today. We believe that collaboration is the only way to provide real change to our communities with our loyal members, passionate teams, and hundreds of nonprofit partners that Numerica has a strong foundation to make that difference. So to wrap this up, we want to say thank you to GSI for organizing events like this and bringing us all together. To Mayor Nadine Woodward for getting us to move forward through 2022, and to all of you for being here today, supporting the Spokane community and helping Numerica enhance lives, fulfill dreams, and build stronger communities for years to come. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Numerica. We appreciate that. Hello, I'm Gary Ballou. I'm the Vice President of Economic Development for Greater Spokane, Inc. It is amazing to have everybody here together in person. But Lisa, do you know what's not amazing?
What?
This cold, cold April. It would be so good to be maybe on a beach somewhere with a beverage, like a bottomless beverage, sun, sand, surf.
Yeah, for sure. Like maybe like a yoga retreat on the
We could do-
beach with a drink,
You know, I have
by
been,
a surf,
yeah,
by the sand.
I have been practicing my yoga poses for just this occasion. So
Oh, oh,
there we go.
wow. What pose is that called?
That's tree.
That's tree?
I think that's tree.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
gonna-
tree was like,
Do you want?
any yoga? No, okay.
No.
All right, well,
I
we're here.
namaste that like a bomb.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
did. Namaste. So we are here for our favorite part is getting in front of the mic. No, just kidding. We get to do the Southwest giveaway. And so who would like to just, you know, while we're finishing up this spring crazy weather, like to head maybe to Hawaii, Arizona, practice your golf swing, you know, get ready for the GSI golf tournament in July? Anybody? You have to raise your hand to be eligible to win, okay?
There you
So
go.
let's just start there. Okay. All right.
All right.
Should we have a winner?
We should.
Okay. I was like, we don't have a winner.
Oh, no.
Okay. Oh, we have a winner.
The winner, number one, is Brittany Klaus with STCU.
Yay, Brittany! Yay! All right, congratulations.
And that is us.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
You should all be glad that I wasn't up here. I would have made everybody get up and practice their tree pose together and find a moment of zen. So thank you, Gary and Lisa, and congratulations, Brittany. I would love to find, I was telling somebody just earlier, the 2 trips I've attempted to take to someplace warm this winter have ended up being the coldest weather they've experienced in 20 years. And I never thought I'd need my down jacket on the beach in Florida, but I did. So I'm still looking for the sun, so come on, sun. So thank you again for that, and a big thank you to Southwest Airlines for their ongoing support in that regard. I want to take just a moment to recognize our regional visionary partners here at GSI, who are fundamental to supporting our initiatives and driving the community forward. Avista, Kohl's Company, Itron, MultiCare, Providence Healthcare, Spokane County, STCU, and Washington Trust Bank. Thank you for your ongoing support to GSI and the community. I also want to thank we have a number of our Board of Trustees in the room today. I want to thank you for your leadership on behalf of the region, and a number of our economic development and community partners that are working on our economic development priorities every day. Thank you for being diligent leaders on behalf of this community as we think about our growth and the support of businesses here and those that want to be part of our community. I'm also delighted to welcome we have many of our elected officials from across the region in attendance today. And I want to ask each of you to please stand. We have representatives from our local, state, and federal delegations here with us today. So if you'll please stand to be recognized by the group here. I'm not going to list you all off with fear of forgetting somebody, which is the worst faux pas. So please stand. Don't be shy. You're elected leaders. Thank you for your dedication and commitment and service on behalf of our Spokane region. We really appreciate it. So now let's get to the main event, hearing from our mayor on our 2022 State of the City address. Mayor Nadine Woodward. Nadine was born and raised in Washington State. She's an award-winning broadcast journalist, mother, business owner, and a proud Spokaneite. After broadcast news jobs in Idaho, Nadine arrived in Spokane in 1990, first working at KREM, then moving to KXLY in 2010. During her television career, Nadine made the Spokane community the focus of her work, both on and off the camera. She supported and emceed events, fundraisers, and served as the honorary chair for a multitude of different causes, including the Spokane County Alzheimer's Association, the Susan G. Komen Race for the Cure, the Go Red for Women and American Heart Association, Anna Ogden Hall, Teen Challenge, Rescue for All at the Inland Northwest Animal Rescue, Women Helping Women, March of Dimes, Red Cross Heroes, Children's Miracle Network, the Sacred Heart Children's Hospital, and Coats for Kids. A really incredible network of organizations supporting community, family, and kids here in our region. Nadine has a Bachelor of Science degree from the University of Portland, and as we know, is proud to serve as the mayor of the city of Spokane. Please join me in welcoming Mayor Nadine Woodward.
Well, hello, everybody. This is so awesome, let me just say. All of you here, we have almost 500 people here today. Do you like the purple? The purple and the gray? Purple for Spokane. I just want to thank Greater Spokane Incorporated for hosting today's event, and thank you to everybody who's joining us online. I also want to thank the City Council, who is here today with their legislative aides. I want to thank you for being here and supporting the city and supporting the mayor as well. You know, it's hard to believe that this is the first time since the first few weeks that I stepped into office that I've been able to deliver the State of the City address in person. Yeah, I mean, who would have thought? Right after that first address, man, our world turned upside down. 2 years later, we're just now getting back to normal. Let me just tell you something real quickly. The one question I get more than anything else. Mayor, I bet if you knew you were going to walk into a global health pandemic right after you took office, you never would have run. And I said, well, you know, it's a good question, but there's a reason we can't look into that crystal ball and know what's coming down the pike. Because some days if we did, we wouldn't want to get out of bed. I always tell people it is what it is. We get to work. I have a great team. I don't have to do this for myself. And I still get to lead the best city in the United States of America, even through a health pandemic. So I'm the lucky one. I will say, too, if anything good has come from the last 2 years, it's been our increased ability to stay connected. share information, and collaborate in many innovative ways. Innovation, I think, is second nature to the people of Spokane. And I applaud each and every one of you for your resiliency and your courage that you continue to show as change continues to occur. In the time that I have served as your mayor, our focus has been on public safety, homelessness, economic development, and housing. And as I stated in my first address to the community, we would accomplish growth in these areas by prioritizing the work, collaborating, and building strong relationships, and focusing on delivering quality results. That is no easy task, I'll tell you that. My primary role is to serve all the citizens of Spokane. We've invested a great deal of time building those relationships and establishing trust in the name of collaboration. And if there's one thing I want you to take away from today's event, it's about collaboration. That is the predominant theme. Listening to learn, learning to grow, growing to build. Building from unique perspective for collaboration from a foundation of strength. This is how we will succeed. You know, much has been written and discussed on the topic of collaboration, and an African proverb, I think, sums it up pretty darn well. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. That's Spokane. Our time together, we're going to talk about these results delivered despite the grips of a global pandemic. After working closely with many community partners, we'll announce new initiatives that will restore the vibrancy, the vitality, and the resiliency to a community at the center of a regional ecosystem. And we'll set an expectation of laser focus on long-term outcomes that build trust with the public and are based on working together rather than through individual exchanges and disruptive public pressure. A few things I can say with certainty. It's going to be bumpy at times. It's going to be frustrating for all of us as we try to fit all of that collective wisdom together. But we'll learn and we'll grow together because, as Harry Truman famously said, it's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit. Over the past several months, the city as an organization has refocused on the alignment of its core deliverables to our community. That has included examining how we think, exchange, and produce. That process has led us to add new emphasis on operational sustainability and mental health. Operational sustainability is the nuts and bolts of what we do. The impact of the pandemic on our workforce, how we deliver services, and how we convene people and ideas has been at the center of those conversations. That includes everything from resource efficiencies, staffing levels, use of technology, and most importantly, the safety and well-being of our customers and those in our organization who serve them. While we'll talk about some of those details a little bit later, what we kept coming back to is a discussion about mental health. Our ability to manage as individuals, organizations, and as a community, the stress, the disruption, anxiety, and pressures that have come with COVID has really become a second pandemic. Mental health is not a subject of expertise for a city organization. Although we too have been impacted like everyone else, struggling to adapt to constant change, to do more with less, and to lead through a lot of unknowns. So we set out to listen and learn. We talked to experts. You know what they told us? Two things. Mayor, you have the ability to convene, and mental health is a really big topic. So pick a focus area and do it well. My mental health task force includes advocacy, community, education, healthcare, and youth representatives. Congresswoman Kathy McMorris-Rogers and State Representative Marcus Riccelli have joined me as honorary co-conveners to give us connectivity to local, state, and federal government resources. Our focus, though, is on youth because of a comment made at a roundtable discussion I was part of at Stevens Elementary School. Jeremy Shea, the president of the Spokane Education Association, told the group, "We will spend years undoing the mental health impact of the pandemic on our youth." Man, I'm telling you, that statement stuck with me, and I knew we had to do something. This was a chance to make an upstream impact for the next generation of our leaders. Mental health is the underlying foundation of everything we do. So it will be a common theme as we talk about public safety, housing, economic development, and homelessness. Let me start off our discussion about public safety with a huge thank you to the voters of Spokane in supporting our firefighters and emergency medical responders. Our community, thank you. Our community approved another 6-year extension of the levy that allows the Spokane Fire Department to be there and to be there quickly when you need them. So on behalf of Fire Chief Brian Schaefer, Spokane Firefighters Union President Randy Marler, and the entire Spokane Fire Department, thank you to the voters for your support. I'm telling you, these men and women, they do such an incredible job keeping our community safe. So again, I just want to say thank you. Public safety is incredibly important in everything we do. In fact, it ranks as one of the top priorities of our community, which is why we commit so much time and resources to continuously fine-tune how we structure, operate, and deliver services. Mental health has been a consideration for the Spokane Police Department long before this pandemic cast a white-hot light on the issue. A few years ago, the department partnered with Frontier Behavioral Health to pair mental health professionals with our police officers in search of a very simple outcome: to assist an individual at the moment they're in crisis before they can harm themselves or anyone else. The program has continued to expand for one simple reason: it's working. Last year, the Behavioral Health Unit contacted more than 4,000 people in crisis. That's nearly a 10% increase over the previous year. Of those encounters, fewer than 1% were arrested. In 680 instances, behavioral health professionals determined that a hospital or involuntary treatment was the safest option. A little more than 300 were diverted from what could have been an arrest. Think about that for a minute. More than 4,000 interactions and fewer than 36 arrests? That's pretty amazing. There's also significant benefits to the officers and to our community. It diverted more than 4,500 calls from patrol and freed up those officers to respond to other needs. Spokane is finding a way to meet a nationwide challenge, and I think that shows pretty remarkable leadership. Police resources are always at a premium, so we partnered, thankfully, thank you City Council, to establish a hire ahead program that allows SPD to hire 10 officers over its allocated capacity positions while staying within their approved budget, to reduce the time that it takes to replace employees who either leave the department or retire. Refocusing officer efforts and attention to crime prevention and response is critical, particularly in a time when we're seeing crime on the rise across the country. Spokane is no different, and it's a trend our officers are working hard to turn around. It'll take an effort that requires collaboration of our community, lawmakers, the judicial system, to hold offenders accountable for their actions while promoting rehabilitation through that process. That includes using arrest and conviction data to keep the community safe while the prolific defenders have their day in court. Much of the, yeah, that's important. That one deserves a big applause. Seriously, we're working on that. Much of the crime in Spokane is tied to the drug epidemic plaguing our community. It's a problem, a big one. Spokane is a regional hub for the distribution of narcotics, and the latest drug gripping our community is fentanyl, a powerful opioid with devastating effects even after a single use. Increases in property and violent crimes can be traced straight to the prevalence of this easily accessible drug. It's why we've partnered with the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration, the U.S. Attorney's Office, Spokane Police Department, Spokane County Sheriff's Office, and a community awareness group called SAFE on Operation Engage to fight the spread of fentanyl and its devastating ripple effects. This effort will focus on education prevention and enforcement to reduce fentanyl from our streets. We've also formed a Spokane Police Department Violent Crime Task Force to go after the most egregious repeat offenders who continue to put our community at risk. The task force is built on philosophies and successes of other specialty teams that the SPD has put together before. And we're looking at approaches other cities have taken to quality of life crimes by packaging misdemeanor crimes into felony charges for those responsible for dozens and dozens of offenses. These creative approaches are needed. Our landscape has changed over the last 2 years because of pandemic and legislative impacts. Social distancing, shutdowns, and employees working remotely have resulted in fewer people in spaces with fewer eyes to deter crimes of opportunity. Legislative changes 2 years ago impacted how our officers respond to complaints of criminal activity. One of those laws requires officers to refer people caught possessing drugs to substance abuse treatment twice before they can be charged. And it continues to be a mandate without the promised funding to provide those treatment services. Word on the street is police are not coming for certain crimes. The police chief and I testified during this last legislative session to restore some of those tools to allow officers to detain individuals for questioning, a step toward accountability and deterrence. Officers are now retraining how they respond to calls for service. And the community, you are so appreciative of the extra effort our officers go to. Many of you even taking the time to say thank you while acknowledging the challenges our men and women in blue face every single day.
The Spokane Police Department is committed to providing excellence in policing, enhancing the safety and security of individuals, and building partnerships to better the lives of our community as a whole. We serve every member of our community with professionalism, integrity, and compassion, so that with every interaction, we continue to build trust, preserve safety, and model ethical policing. Those words are memorialized in the department's mission and vision statements. They are operationalized in the evaluation of candidates, the values of officers, and the ongoing training they receive. They are the foundation of more than a decade of emphasis on prioritizing community policing. Last year, the Spokane Police Department received 214 commendations from the community.
Yeah, it was a drug house right on the corner, and it was a hot mess. Yesterday marked a wonderful day in our South Perry District neighborhood.
A new young family with a sweet young daughter and 2 dogs moved into the former nuisance property in our neighborhood. I am smiling from ear to ear to have yet another little one in our neighborhood. We are so blessed.
We are blessed. No more nuisance activity in our special piece of heaven. With enormous gratitude, dear Tim. It's been almost 1 year since the neighborhood returned to normalcy. I am so blessed. I love my home and my neighborhood. Thank you so much, dear Tim. All of us are so very grateful.
Dear Officer Tim Schwering.
Stuff that you hold so dearly and tightly all of a sudden is gone. I want to say a big thank you to 3 officers on your force. Officer Cragen.
Officers Stadley and Nguyen arrived shortly after the first officer. All 3 were not only perfectly professional, but thoughtful, courteous, respectful, helpful, and considerate as well.
My cell phone was recovered, and when I noticed my SIM card was missing,
Officer Stadley and Nguyen made a second trip into the house to look for the SIM card. Even if my phone had not been recovered, the officers were outstanding in handling the incident.
I am grateful to them for responding to a probably minor to you, but major to me incident. Do you realize how dependent we have become on those little devices when your force has so many other pressing issues? I am always appreciative of all our Spokane police officers and their support staff for their continued commitment to keeping us safe, and my personal incident only reinforces my feelings of gratitude and support.
It's nice to know that we all watch out for each other, and Officer Willard watches out for us. We had an individual trespass onto our property a few days ago that tried to duck the ring cameras and go behind our home. He didn't see the other ring that captured it all.
I also turned on the video on my phone. He wanted to pick my Arona berries that go for $12 to $20 a pound. I said no and to leave my property. He didn't and began chewing me out that the berries were going to waste. Did I own the property? And then he said he jumped the fence over the hill to make entry on Southeast Boulevard, next to the Arona berry trees.
I called Officer Willard, NRL, for help.
He's helped our neighborhood numerous times regarding homeless people camping in the woods. He always returns your calls, including yesterday.
Since I had the plate number, he was able to get a hold of the individual and explain the consequences of trespassing on property that is not his.
Officer Willard's extremely helpful,
Polite,
and proactive. He's a huge asset to the department.
and all of us neighbors hope he never leaves the Southside Cop Station.
We hope he gets the recognition that he deserves. There's too much police bashing out there. We just wanted you all to know how helpful
Officer Willard is. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Amy and Mike Warren.
I see it as a great opportunity for partnership around the safety of children. I know and trust the work that Sean does and that he's going to do it well and in the best interest of those that he's working with.
I wanted to pass along our appreciation of Sean for all of his work on a particular case.
The work that we all do can often be difficult and requires attunement to not only the needs of vulnerable children, but also awareness of intricacies involved in working with a team
To secure the best safety outcomes for children. Sean has done a tremendous job working with us in support of these children. Thank you to you and your team for all the amazing work you do. Sean is the best.
And we are so lucky to get to work with such a dedicated detective. He always goes above and beyond the call of duty and never hesitates to do what is needed to keep children safe. P.S. I'm not shouting, just really passionate about my sentiments towards Sean.
Well, thank you to those officers in the videos and to our 356 men and women who wear the badge to serve you. Please pray for their protection. The fire department is also making a major public health and safety impact. Its teams rescued 6 people from residential fires last year, and already this year they've rescued 3. Another 100 people suffering from sudden cardiac arrest were resuscitated by paramedics. More than 1,000 people are alive today because of the department's expanded medical partnership to improve clinical care for pediatric, stroke, cardiac, and sepsis emergencies. The city is once again considering a regional emergency dispatch approach that would deliver the kind of services that the community deserves and would save the city money. We've also formally partnered with the Regional Emergency Management System to more proactively coordinate responses to disasters with other cities, towns, and unincorporated areas of Spokane County. Our improvements to public safety directly impact quality of life as we work now to restore vibrancy, vitality, and resiliency to our downtown, the region's economic engine and gathering place. The pandemic has taken its toll on urban centers all across the country. Revitalizing our downtown will take a partnership of government, the private sector, and nonprofits to reactivate the urban center. The city has taken some important steps, including hiring a new director of community and economic development, a division that I created to meet the challenges of this pandemic and to focus on our neighborhood business districts. A new planning director is working with neighborhoods to advance livability needs while maintaining the unique character of Spokane's blocks. Additional cleanup crews will be able to remove graffiti, litter, and camps more quickly, and will soon finally go to a 7-day-a-week operation. New secure trash cans have been added downtown, too, to keep garbage from returning to the sidewalks and streets. And get this, extra effort has been given to put a spit shine, as my city administrator likes to say it, Johnny Perkins. Thank you, Johnny. On our city ahead of some iconic community events that are returning for the first time in 2 years. And of course, the visits by Paul McCartney, who is kicking off his Got Back tour tomorrow night right here in Spokane. Who's going? Yeah, that's pretty exciting. And then Bob Dylan, who recently announced he'll launch his Rough and Rowdy Ways tour on Memorial Day weekend here in Spokane, too. Our emphasis, though, on cleanup has been ongoing for some time. Last month alone, wait until you hear this. Last month alone, our city crews had a major cleanup emphasis. They collected 110,000 pounds of litter citywide. Not the weekly curbside garbage pickup. We're talking litter discarded in our public spaces. That's the amount of garbage that 275 families of 4 generate in a month. Revitalization of our business corridors is being coordinated citywide next month to invite people back to local businesses and to take part in community events again. I'm really excited about an alleyway activation program that took a small step last summer, but that will be showcased for expansion this June to give people new inviting ways to enjoy our downtown and to deter unwanted activity. All of these activities are building toward a return of events this summer that will serve as an enthusiastic and energetic welcome back to the city that we so cherish in our community. I just want to say a huge thank you to the Downtown Spokane Partnership for all the work that they do alongside the city to make this happen. They are such an asset to our city. Thank you, DSP. New and remodeled Spokane Library branches, each accomplished through partnerships with schools or parks, have opened in the Northeast, the Northwest, and the South over the past couple of years. Investments in neighborhood parks and trails are adding to our reputation for livability and are great complements to the beautiful transformation of Riverfront Park as the region's front porch. Simultaneously, yes, that deserves applause too. I'll tell you, anytime I talk to visitors who are from out of town, they say, that is the jewel of the city, what you have right there. Thank you for your investment. That took a lot of money from voters too. Simultaneously, the city is working to simplify and improve key economic development incentives, such as the multifamily tax exemption and projects of citywide significance program, to make them easier to access and administer. Regional stakeholders are also discussing how we can work together to strengthen broadband fiber, to create an internal exchange point, or that is, an internet exchange point, which significantly improves our competitiveness in today's virtual world. These are all critically important support in existing new businesses as we emerge even stronger from the disruption of the last 2 years. Fortunately, we have a lot to build on, including, I'm so excited about this, celebrating the U.S. Small Business Administration's Regional Young Entrepreneur of the Year from right here in Spokane. This is a big deal. Jessica Winfrey Atkinson, please stand up. So excited for you. Of course, she owns Sweet Frosting's Blissful Bake Shop. She's being recognized for demonstrating resiliency, staying power, and innovation. Sweet Frosting's opened in 2011. They've expanded 3 times and now employ 35 people. And Jessica is with us today. Thanks again for all your work in our city and for just staying in there during a really tough time. We don't have an award today. Your award's coming later, and I get to deliver it to you, so I'm really, really excited about that. One more applause for Jessica. You guys were so nice you applauded earlier. Well, building from here requires partnership with the private sector and nonprofits to reactivate a common community known for its vitality, energy, and hospitality. So we're calling on all of you, downtown businesses, bring back your employees into the office to increase the foot traffic and eyes that we need on the street. New sports, recreation, and entertainment additions are activating the north bank of the Spokane River to help expand our downtown area with the river as its majestic centerpiece. Stakeholders are discussing shared parking, transportation links, and new housing, commercial and mixed-use development that reinvents Spokane as a centerpiece 50 years after we invited the World's Fair to visit here. We're also working with the City Council to protect riverbanks against the impacts of camping and littering to enhance our Cleaner River Faster initiative that kept pollution out of the river so we could get back into it. So by now you're understanding that this is not a one-size-fits-all solution and approach. And it's fitting that during Spokane Gives Month, which is in April, we're talking about how everyone plays a small part to the betterment of our greater community. Spokane Gives is in its 9th year. It's seen 100,000 volunteers give more than 440 hours of volunteer service, a $10 million impact to our community. That is the power of a city coming together toward a common goal, to be a compassionate community where there's opportunity and support to do great things. Take a look at what we're doing to create those opportunities.
During 2021, we saw major improvements completed in Riverfront Park.
Philly.
We improved your access to the Spokane River Gorge.
Hey, welcome to the new Shaw and Hilliard Library.
And opened new schools for our children. Even during the pandemic, crews from the Public Works Division lived up to their namesake and kept on working. Grind and overlay projects in every corner of the city and new pavement around high-profile attractions like the arena and the podium.
And the work to make Spokane an inviting place for residents, business, and visitors continues. Here on North River Drive, the city is funding new construction, laying down sidewalks to link pedestrians with the Ice Age Park, Hoop Fest courts, and all that Riverfront Park and the North Bank has to offer.
For every $1 million in public construction investment, typically supports 10 to 20 good-paying jobs in our community. And that's a really important part of this, more people working.
This project was so important to us because it really is about connecting downtown to other parts of Spokane.
You add in things like the University District Gateway Bridge, and suddenly we have a place where people want to be, they want to work and play and live.
Formerly, we would be putting out about 75 pounds of phosphorus a day into the river. And at this point, we're probably putting out 2 to 3 pounds.
Spokane has some of the most advanced water treatment in the entire country. That really is something to celebrate.
When we clean up that river, we give even more reasons for people to connect with the river. The river is about economic growth.
Since the beginning of COVID to January of 2022, Spokane had the second highest growth in job postings in Indeed of any cities in the country. Yeah, we're continuing to see developer interest in Spokane from outside the region, which is very helpful. People want to come to Spokane.
And from this spot just to the east here, we can see the construction that's happening on downtown's newest residential tower. And that's another thing we're very excited in. It's a great visual sign of the confidence that investors have in our downtown. And this is merely the start of what we hope to experience in investments into Riverside Avenue. In the future, downtown will not just be the place you drive through, but the place you drive to, creating a walkable space featuring a mix of commerce, commercial activity, and a fostering of locally owned businesses.
Congratulations. Yay! We want to stand with you to make you as successful as possible and to make our downtown the best place to live, work, and play. Pretty exciting, all that's going on right now. Many of you are the job creators.
During 2021, we saw major improvements completed in Riverfront Park.
Right here in Spokane. And now more than any time in recent memory, those connections are critical as we work together to overcome labor shortages that threaten our progress. That includes housing, which has fallen victim to a perfect storm of lagging production and inventory, labor and materials challenges, and regulatory considerations as we work our way out of a challenge that nearly every city in this country is facing. Consider this. When the pandemic hit, the median home price in Spokane County was right around $288,000. The median home price just set a record for a second consecutive month in March at $430,000. That's a 50% increase in 2 years and the kind of astronomical impact that we're challenged with. Several months ago, I declared a housing emergency in Spokane. That declaration included more than 24 priority actions that my administration would take in partnership with the City Council to immediately improve housing availability at all levels. Those actions range from staffing, code enforcement changes, and community engagement. Since that declaration, the city has prioritized hiring to focus on housing outcomes. Full route plan reviews on residential projects have dropped from 6 weeks to 2. Consultants are now supporting staff to accommodate record volumes of development and building activity much more quickly. The Planning Department has led a Shaping Spokane housing initiative that proposes more flexibility for residential development, particularly for duplexes, townhouses, accessory dwelling units, and short-term rentals in commercial zones. The initiative also streamlines permitting for subdivision updates, and it adds more housing types, densities, and zones, and increases affordability and low-income home construction by faith institutions. All of that is to sustain and grow the momentum in the residential and overall construction markets. Last year, for the second year in a row, the city recorded a 23-year high for both residential and total construction valuation. Single-family permits exceeded the yearly average for the first time since 2018, with the majority of inventory in the $200,000 to $400,000 range. Growth in multifamily units was even more pronounced. The city had the biggest year since at least 2005, and more than doubled the annual average for apartments and other multi-unit residential. That is incredible. In fact, multifamily housing, along with investments in public and higher education and manufacturing, accounted for the largest projects last year. Here's the impact that work is having on our community.
The City of Spokane is creating a housing action plan to increase housing options that are affordable and accessible to people and families of all income levels in our community, and trying to identify ways that we could adjust regulations, incentives to promote development.
So the Housing Action Plan was adopted last summer. That conversation continues now as we look at specific recommendations to change our development code to make things like this duplex development possible. There are people who might be interested in building a backyard house, an accessory dwelling unit, we call it in planning terms, to house a family member, or maybe to supplement the income so they can have an easier time paying their mortgage. And housing that's built in one place can complement housing and businesses in other places.
You know, in Spokane, we need housing, but we especially need workforce housing. And that project on Brown and Riverside will be providing 139 units of workforce housing for firefighters, nurses, teachers, and other people that need it. Not only that, it's a project that's situated with very close to amenities of downtown and walking distance of the University District. It fits in perfectly with our goal in getting more housing downtown, more infill housing, and providing more workforce housing.
What time do you want? Yes, but you can come over here and we can help you.
From December 2020?
I've lived there for almost a year.
And now the city of Spokane has got involved with some federal money. And in the last month, we've gotten a couple of tenants caught up, and we've got 4 or 5 that have since applied. And so hopefully the money holds up and they can also get taken care of.
I tell you what, I was able to give more to to a Vista, to everything that's still for our livelihood as well, to keep things running.
If you're replacing your deck, you will need to get a permit, and you can do that online if you'd like.
Here at Development Services Center, we really wanted to find a way to continue the progress of building while we were all stuck at home. We didn't want to be the roadblock. And so we moved to online permitting to streamline the process and really make it easier for people to get their permitting needs met.
Once we've had that conversation and we've set the zoning parameters and all of the controls that we have on land use, then we want to do everything we can to make sure that developers are realizing that vision. So anyone looking to learn more about what we're doing, shapingspokanehousing.com. You'll get some more information there.
Well, we still have a lot to do, and we're very encouraged by some of the early progress. Housing is still a topic of conversation everywhere, especially among those who are trying to enter the market as renters or to buy a home for the very first time. Housing inventory at all levels is one of the greatest factors impacting our ability to get and to keep people housed. Spokane, like virtually every other community across this country, is wrestling with how to help its homeless population. Passionate debate has been about how to provide shelter, what types, and what to do with people who just don't want help. Today, we're announcing the next evolution of our homeless plan. It is the extension of work that we announced back in July of 2020 that added low-barrier shelter space for youth, young adults, men, women, and families, provided greater consistency to shelter users and providers, introduced a bridge housing program as a crucial gateway to get out of homelessness, and taken major steps toward a true regional approach. And it's based on recommendations in the Continuum of Care 5-year plan. The plan that we're announcing today is built on community collaboration and relies on resources from providers, nonprofits, private industry, and government to further build a regional system of assets and resources that meet people with services, prevent them from becoming homeless, or get them temporarily housed and move them out of homelessness. The idea was to bring people together and groups with vastly different approaches and ideologies around this universally shared belief that sidewalks, alleyways, and other outdoor spaces are not safe, healthy, or humane. For those struggling with mental health, substance abuse, or other conditions that require emergency interventions and a permanent housing solution. To make homelessness rare, brief, and non-recurring by fostering shared responsibility among stakeholders. I'm going to tell you, homelessness is an issue that draws out a passion in people that is as personal as it is polarizing. There are as many solutions as there are individuals, homeless and in crisis. Bill Nye said it best. Everyone you will ever meet knows something you don't. My commitment was to listen. And the plan we're announcing today is a culmination of reviewing data and recommendations from all perspectives, socializing that plan with providers, advocates, business owners, and many others to gain as much buy-in and feedback as possible. Any collaboration is based on compromise, and this plan is no different. Everyone should be able to identify with at least some part of the plan, maybe not all. However, the plan provides a path forward to outcomes that we all want to see: a compassionate, safe, and clean city. We've met a couple of times with former Governor Christine Gregoire, who leads an organization that did extensive research about attitudes towards homelessness across the state and here in Spokane. That work showed 3 conclusions. Homelessness is our greatest challenge, and as a state, it is a statewide problem, and it has specific community impacts. So the data, resources, and ideas from people and organizations throughout our region really inform this next evolution of that 2020 plan and has 8 areas of focus. Get individuals emergency housed. Meet them with individualized services. Coordinate supportive resources. Know them by name and need. Deploy caseworkers to meet people where they are physically and in life. Deliver transparency and accountability to maintain buy-in. Create more housing inventory and expect compassionate accountability. We've already started executing the plan with the 15 steps that you see on the screen behind me. They range from identifying a shelter site for on-demand activation, including during weather, developing a transportation partnership and route to connect people to services that they need, deploying a public shelter dashboard for awareness of resources and what our capacity is, and opening a dialogue with the court system, and this is important, about how to bring greater accountability into our therapeutic courts. And now we need your help. We need you to identify where you can most be effective in moving us forward as a community toward one goal of getting people off the streets, off the sidewalks, and out of fields, and into safe places so that they can sleep out of the elements. Let me be very clear about one thing. This plan is a chapter. It is not the end of the book. The strategies and execution are building blocks toward the next evolution. Many open questions remain about where and how we add services, how we better partner with the court system to achieve greater accountability in the service connections that we are making with people, and how we do a better job of getting upstream to make those service connections before it becomes a crisis in someone's life. So a shout out here, and it's a big one, to the Continuum of Care, CHHS Board, the Spokane Low Income Housing Consortium, Spokane Homeless Coalition, Spokane Neighborhood Action Partners, Catholic Charities, Citygate, Family Promise, the Guardians, the Salvation Army, Truth Ministries, UGM, Volunteers of America, Downtown Spokane Partnership, Hello for Good, Hope Street Coalition, Berry Consulting, the Mayor's Advisory Council on Downtown Environment, the Regional Government Group, and so many others in this community. Man, that is a lot of organizations. I just want to say this, that we are listening and we'll continue to listen. This plan is not perfect, but it's a best compromise, and compromise is not a dirty word. If you take one thing, I want you to know this. We are in the business of delivering people outcomes, plain and simple. No other agendas, no other motivations. And this is why we do what we do.
Floor 3, going up.
I'm Chris Brewer. I was homeless for about 3 years, and I'm at my new place now in the Rid Path. It's home. It's freedom.
The City of Spokane and its regional partners are creating new pathways for people to escape life on the streets here in our city. Their climb to a better life often starts here in our shelter on Cannon Street. Here, where people can have a roof over their heads, basic services like 3 meals a day, showers, laundry service, mail, and with passionate staff to serve their basic needs.
Do you want bread or anything?
Yes, please.
And when people are ready to take the next step, our new bridge housing program is providing guests a safe place to stay while they concentrate on finding jobs and their sobriety.
Well, I do like to go to rehab during the daytime when I'm not working. And if I'm not doing that, then I'm looking at videos, watching welding videos, trying to learn more about welding.
John is one of the many success stories here at The Way Out because we've been able to bring all of the services that the folks identified as needing under one roof.
It's clean, it's stable, it's safe, you can leave your stuff and not worry about it being stolen.
Another thing that we're doing here at the Way Out Center is helping to remove the obstacles that are keeping people in homelessness.
You don't have to carry around your backpack and all your belongings on your shoulders like a ball and chain, so you can actually go out and get a job and do what you need to do to succeed.
So once we open the doors, we have everyone come in and do an intake, and then we give them some bed, a shelter, a great meal, and then we talk about all the things that they need to be successful and move on from our shelter.
And so now that they're here, they're amongst their peers. So it's like they have somebody that's walking alongside with them, that you can go to somebody and yeah, you're facing some of the same things that I'm facing. And you know what, we can get through this together. I think that is a key, and that's what we try to do here at the Young Adult Shelter.
They give me a place where I can stay safe, have my stuff at here, and then they also are helping me provide like my SSN, my ID, and my birth certificate so that I can get jobs.
I got a roof over my head now, living, making money, working my butt off just to try to help with bills where I'm staying at.
So today we get to open 60 front doors. Those 60 keys will welcome home 60 people and those keys mean a warm bed, a place to rest, and a place to rebuild their lives. Today means that we don't have to tell women that there's no beds available for them tonight.
You have to want the help in order to receive help. So I was at my rock bottom, and I hope I'll save my life.
You've got to put in the effort. You've got to put in the work. You got to put in, the energy just to get where you want to go. They can only do so much.
Most importantly, when people like Chris manage to exit homelessness, it creates capacity in our low barrier system here in our city so that other individuals can be invited in to receive the services that we can provide to get them on the right track.
My future is bright. I'll be able to pay off all my debts, never be homeless ever again, and just be independent for the rest of my life. It's going to be amazing.
Chris is my special guest today. Please join me in congratulating his success. So for your new apartment, Chris, we have a little housewarming gift. It's an artist did a watercolor of downtown. So that's for you to hang on your wall.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. This is success right here. This is why we do what we do. Thank you. I just love stuff like that. It's so great. As our time draws to a close today, we have one more exciting announcement. We've thrown a lot at you, especially when it comes to homelessness. Much of that requires community resources to get us where we need to go. So we'll be announcing a community fundraising initiative to close Spokane Gives Month next week. It will call on each of you as individuals and as business owners, large and small, to help support the ongoing operation to help keep our city clean, vibrant, and safe. And finally, this is big. We're excited to announce that the city has formalized a partnership with Catholic Charities to pursue a new permanent shelter campus that would relocate the House of Charity out of downtown and further serve people in need in a location outside of the downtown core. The vision is to significantly, thank you. The vision is to significantly increase space for women, provide comprehensive services that will help people become more stable and move them into permanent supportive housing, and offer even greater flexibility with how we give everyone a fresh start toward making Spokane a model for how we support the individual journey. That campus will be in a different area than the drop-in shelter that we've been talking about and we're finalizing right now, outside of downtown, and actually become part of a transportation loop that's being developed to connect people to shelter and additional supportive services. There is a lot of work left to do. There always will be. And you know what? I always tell people that I'm so lucky that I have a team and a fabulous community around me, because it means that none of us has to do any of this alone. So I'm going to leave you with this thought from former high school football coach and life coach Art Williams. I'm not telling you it's going to be easy. I'm telling you it's going to be worth it. So thank you everyone for your time today and attention and continued partnership. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you to the entire team, the City of Spokane, for your work that you're doing on behalf of this city every single day. I think that quote that the mayor shared at the end really wraps it up well, and the fact that if these were easy things to solve, none of us would be sitting here in this room, because we know that things like public safety, homelessness, housing, economic development are a team sport, and they take a lot of solutions, innovation, creativity, and collaboration to keep moving our community forward. So thank you for taking time to be here. To some of the mayor's comments, please keep coming to the table with your ideas, with your support, because we're going to need all of that to continue to innovate as a community. I want to thank our sponsors for making today possible. New America Credit Union, thank you for being our presenting sponsor. To our major sponsors, TDS Fiber, the Washington State University Health Sciences Spokane, thank you. And to our event sponsors, Southwest Airlines, the Spokane Convention Center, and the University of Washington, thank you. And please just join me in thanking the staff here at the Convention Center for supporting the service today. Thank you for showing up and doing your jobs. And then a thank you to our team at Greater Spokane Incorporated for making today possible. They're incredible. They're all standing along the back. Leona Perry, our events manager, thank you. As I was talking about with Brian Coddington from the city, for many of us and for many of my team members, they hadn't done a State of the City in person. And so the opportunity to be able to experience that, so just a huge thank you to them. So with that, I want to wish each of you a beautiful day. I want to thank you for showing up today. I want to invite you looking for the registration for the golf tournament, because as you've heard, Lisa and Gary are going to be out there showing off their golf skills.